Sky Squad, we are back in the building and we have got to talk about the breakdown that was had last night on The Real Housewives of Potomac. By who, you may be asking? Well, just one Robyn Dixon. But why? Why the breakdown? I mean, lest we not forget, it was Robyn who told us that if you aren't willing to share your story and your life, then maybe you shouldn't be on reality television. Don't believe me? Well, some person out there, I don't know who they are. I can't see the words, but they did it on the TikTok and we thank them for it. Okay, we thank you. Okay, and we thank our friends over at Reality Chat for reminding us. Okay, reminding us. Oh, it's X underscore XO underscore Kish underscore XO underscore. Let's take a listen to what Robyn had to say just about a year or so ago.
To be willing to be like fully transparent, to share your life, the good part and the bad part. Maybe she shouldn't be on a TV show where your life is going to be talked about. You have to be willing to be like fully transparent, to share your life, the good part and the bad part. Maybe she shouldn't be on a TV show where your life is going to be talked about.
Well, that didn't age well, did it? Didn't quite age too well, did it? Did it? I don't think it did. So I want you guys to keep that in the forefront of your mind as we talk about what happened on last night's episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac, if indeed you guys are still watching, okay? Because I've come to realize that Potomac is a little bit of a traumatic watch for a lot of you guys, and I don't quite blame you. I think I'm on the edge myself, and I ain't ever been on the edge with Potomac, but I'm on the verge. I mean, I'm hanging on by my pinky, okay? By my pinky. That's what I'm hanging on by a string with the show. So let's get into exactly what happened last night on the episode. We are talking about Real Housewives of Potomac, season 8, episode 6, Tequila Tears Down to the Texas. Okay. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, I feel like I'm gonna give this episode a 7. Um, for me, I feel like some things were addressed in last night's episode, but I'm kind of at the point now where it's like, I don't care. I don't know if I care. I don't know that I care enough, and I don't know if there's enough fun that they can try to inject into an episode to make this watch bearable, because we are circling the drain with Lebe, with Juan, and it's just like we're getting nowhere except for down to the Austin, Texas. So we just changed scenery and we're still doing the same thing. So for the lack of progress, I'm gonna have to give it a 7. Okay. And also too, for the lack of unavailable, like we don't Lebe is not available to speak. Juan he don't care, and we're not gonna get much from Robyn. So why are we continuing with either of these narratives? I'm just tired. I really am. But here we are. So let's discuss. All right. So we're back at the argumentation down to the construction zone that is the outside of the hotel down to the Austin. Okay. Lebe is once again the topic of conversation. Why was she at Wendy sipping C? What does that mean for Wendy? Why did Lebe get a gele? Why did Giselle get a gele? I mean, can anybody get a gele? I don't know. What I do know is Lebe may or may not be cool with Wendy. Wendy may or may not have a relationship with Wendy. There's some text messages, there's BBLs, there's Wendy's sister Ivy to contend with, and we know nothing more than we knew 4 episodes ago. So here we are. Anyway, at this point, Wendy's like, well, girl, were you there? Were you at my daughter's event? Or were you back in LA on that stuff? Okay. Now, that stuff being something that rhymes with back, and it starts with the C-R, and it's something that Whitney said was whack. Okay. So glean from that what you will. I don't know where this accusation came from. There are no rhymes with back receipts, as the producers have asked Wendy for. I'm not sure where it came up from. I think it was just really a way for her to shut down the argument. And that she did. But you know what's so funny? Giselle is like, no one does that anymore. And also, we shouldn't be putting out those types of accusations. And in my mind, I was shocked because I was like, well, every other accusation is okay, correct? I mean, is that not correct? Where is the line with you? Oh, the line is that stuff. Okay, I got you. I got you. It's not nobody else's kids, the paternity of nobody's kids, nobody's husbands. It's not that, but it is Crackers work. Okay. So fine. Anyway, Wendy says, let's not put out any allegations then. Giselle. Okay. So Karen is like, I don't need to see two beautiful Nigerian women coming at each other like that. Finally, someone has said it. Then it's dance party time, ironically. I mean, why not? What else should we be doing when we're talking about that stuff and we're talking about Lebe and BBLs, but dance, right? So they get on the dance floor, they get to cutting up and whatnot. And Candiace goes to have a conversation with Nneka to make sure she's okay because she could tell that, Nneka was going through and through and through and through and through with all of the shrinery talk, okay? And Wendy's like, hey, boo, not on my watch. You don't need to be talking to her about me, okay? And, Candiace is like, I respect what she's saying, but I'm not going to change. And I wanted to make sure old girl was all right. Speaking of Nneka, can we talk about her for a second? I don't dislike her, but I don't know her outside of Lebe, of Shrines, outside of, any of those things, and the fact that she wants to she's expecting. Gone are the days when we're introduced to someone via their lifestyle, which she does seem to have. I mean, she seems to be living that life. I would have preferred to have gotten to know her, that way first before we got to the shrinery of it all, but here we are. So it is hard for me to connect with Nneka on screen because all I know now and all I can see and hear is Shrine, okay? Shrine, the shrinery of it all. So anyway, chime down in the chat and let me know what you guys feel about Nneka. I mean, she's a gorgeous woman. That's all I know. She's trying to have a baby. And Lebe got a gay lay. So anyway, next up is dinner time. And there's some discussion about who swallows and guzzles the stuff, not that stuff, but the different stuff, the stuff that comes out of the thing, and ding, 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 Robyn does. Oh, Robyn, he don't deserve you to be guzzling any of his liquids because he has not been, he's been no good. Don't you know no good? And so he don't deserve for you to be guzzling that stuff like mouthwash. Stop it. You need to put him on the punishment, girl. Okay? Because we're not. I'm gonna leave it at that. Anyway, relations and nighttime bedtime activities seem to be one of the only things that can get these ladies all on one accord and at least halfway speaking to each other. Afterwards, Robyn oddly invites everyone back to their room, but later she's shocked when the people do go to her room. Here's what I mean. She says everybody's welcome to come back to my room. The irony is that everybody goes. Giselle and Karen do a drive-by and then they out. I don't blame them. Nothing usually good happens after the hours. Candiace ends up wearing Robyn's shoes, her slides, or whatever like that. And Robyn is confused that, because Candiace has called her a fraud online, but is now in her room wearing her shoes. Well, Robyn, you allowed her to wear the shoes and you did invite her to your room. Why would you do that if you don't think that she should be around you? Like, that makes absolutely no sense to me. You invited her and Wendy to your room, but now you're shocked that they're actually there? Like, make it make sense. Like, either we all going to try to push through and move forward or not. Like, I don't get it. Again, I respect when somebody doesn't want to speak to somebody. It doesn't make for a good show, but I respect it. But what I don't respect is you inviting people and then wondering why they actually come when they're not speaking to you. And I think that Candiace said it best. It's like we can all kind of come together when we're having fun, and hopefully that opens up the door to conversation, because she, at the end of that night, she wants to have a conversation with Robyn, and Robyn is like, okay, yeah, whatever, pretty much. All right, so the next day is supposed to be a morning of painting the cooter. Okay, Karen does not want to paint the cooter, and there will be no cooter painting. Okay, to let you guys know, spoiler alert on that. Nobody's cooter will be painted, and that's just that. Keep your cooter closed to married men. All right. That was Nene. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Um, Instead, let's talk about Robyn. So Karen addresses it head on. She says, "We don't know what you're going through, and you selectively speak to one pocket of the circle, and it divides the group. How are you doing?" Instead of Robyn hearing the "how are you doing" part, Robyn hones in on the "you selectively speak to one pocket of the circle and it divides the group." She says, "What I'm going through personally does not affect the group."
Have to be willing to be like fully transparent, to share your life, the good part and the bad part. Maybe she shouldn't be on a TV show where your life is going to be talked about if you're
Robyn. Oh, Robyn. Anyway, Candiace is like, "Well, girl, I sent you a message and you ignored me, and Robyn is like, "Well, you trashed me on social media. Do you know what I have gone through? I didn't tell my mama on my hood. I look fly. I look good." She didn't tell her mama what happened. So she was like, "Why would I tell y'all?" You know what I'm saying? And to that, I say, yet again,
you have to be willing to be like fully transparent, to share your life, the good part and the bad part. Maybe she shouldn't be on a TV show where your life is going to be talked about if you have
on my mama. Okay. So anyway, as I was saying, she then stands up and she says, "What do y'all want me to do? Do you want to beat me up?" Now she is the victim. Okay. And so Karen impersonating Robyn in this bonnet, okay, is taking me out of here. But Robyn to me is still being dense, as Candiace will talk about later. But Candiace points out the obvious. When you do something like what you did, it affects the integrity of the entire group. And Robyn is screaming, "I'm trying to talk. I will be happy to answer any questions." When? When will you be happy to answer a question? When will you answer a question and be happy about it? Okay. Because all this shouting and shenanigans don't make it clear to the rest of the group that you are an open book. Okay. Unless you're paying $5.99 on the Patreon. Okay. So anyway, Wendy is like, "Well, how come we never saw you talk to your homegirl and say, I've been really stressed and this is what's going on?" And Robyn says, "Well, the girl DM'd her, but she wasn't looking at her messages when she DM'd." And so then the girl DM'd Giselle. And Giselle pipes in and is like, "Just because y'all don't see it doesn't mean it don't happen." And I'm reminded that Giselle was egging Robyn on to tell the story behind the Patreon wall. Anyway, Karen calls out BS as she should. Okay. And Candiace says, "Well, you said that there was a DM exchange between this young lady and Juan, and you didn't read it? You didn't want to know at least a little bit of what they were saying?" And Robyn is like, "No, absolutely no, because Juan no longer has the messages. Okay, how convenient." And he cleans his phone out like crazy. He cleaned his phone out like we clean toilets, y'all. I mean, he just clean and clean and clean and scrub and scrub and scrub and scrub and scrub and clean and clean and clean and clean and scrub and scrub and scrub. Okay. Well, all right then. There we have it. Ashley's like, "Okay, Let's wrap it up. No cooter painting for y'all. So then they divide up the group and they draw names out of a hat, which still ends up kind of working to be the same little groups that they always go on. So anyway, one group goes to the distillery and one group goes to get some boots. Okay. Now, really, we don't need to discuss the boot group because ain't nothing really happened there for me. But the distillery group, Wendy, Karen, Candiace, and Mia. Karen is in the back with Candiace, I believe. And they talking about whether or not they got anything from Robyn during the Ponderosa where they were supposed to be painting cooters. And so when, they're kind of going back and forth and, Wendy's like, you know what? I don't care. If he want to cheat on her, allegedly, okay, fine. Okay. If they want to go to Nigeria, fine. If he want to pay for all of our hotel rooms, fine. Okay. I don't care. And you know what I said? I said, Wendy, you're right. Who cares? Who cares anymore? I've lost the ability to care. We're not gonna get anywhere. No answer is gonna really satisfy anyone. And to be truthful, the only person that needs to be satisfied at the end of the day is Robyn and Juan, who also doesn't care. So if they are happy with where they are, then for me, honestly, I wish them the best. May God bless you both on your journey. And so anyway, um, as the the distillery group goes to get something to eat or something like that. I mean, or they drinking outside. I think they're having flights and maybe some nosh, And so a crow flies up and Mia says, "That's not your mama, is it?" Oh, my mama. Okay, so at that point, now Mia, I don't know now. That might have been cause for Wendy to reach out and touch somebody's face and make this world a better place if you can. Okay, it might have been a cause for her to do that. I ain't gonna lie, because that was kind of uncalled for, to be honest with you. And Wendy has to check her, like, girl, don't do that. Like, don't do that because it's not funny. Nobody else is laughing but you. Okay. Um, and Mia's like, I'm okay, I'm just kidding, just kidding, just kidding. And Wendy goes into the history of Catholicism and shrines and how shrines are being conflated with witchcraft. And she talks about how triggering this has been for her. And she breaks down about how much it hurts to have someone attack her mom. And that's why she will not be friends with Nneka. It would have been nice for maybe Karen, Candiace to sit Nneka and Wendy down to have that conversation. I say that so that there could be two people who have a vested interest in seeing these two beautiful Nigerian women squash their differences. Had that conversation, had we placed Nneka there instead of Mia, we probably would have been able to move forward beyond this storyline, because in this moment you get a very transparent Wendy, okay, versus the show stopping Wendy, okay? And in this moment you feel Wendy's pain, okay? And Mia agrees that this is a sensitive topic and she's going to leave it alone. All right? So I did like that bit of progress that we made with Wendy and Mia, because it was time. So anyway, the group links back up for lunch, and there's some discussion about Nneka's family and her husband being a titled man. And then it comes up that Karen and Wendy bought their blue checks on Twitter. Fun conversation. I mean, this does go a long way towards showing that the ladies can come together, but I think there's so much division that it almost feels like, whatever at this point, So anyway, there's a discussion about Ashley's divorce, and my question is that still a thing? Is it still going on, or is it just I kind of feel like Michael just doesn't want to film, and this is a good way for him not to have to film. Does anybody else feel like that? I mean, I don't know. Like, let's give Ashley a house. And that's that. So anyway, Mia then teeter-totters on, that lawsuit, hey, this is so sensitive. I don't know if I want to ask, but they told me to. Girl, what's going on with the lawsuit and Candiace and Michael? Somebody answer. Whoever want to, okay? um, and Candiace is like, I'm not speaking about that with the group, period. And I get it. I mean, I get it. It's a lawsuit. So usually you do more damage by talking about something, an ongoing legal matter. And so lawyers would typically advise you not to talk about anything unless they have prepared something formal for you to say. Um, at that point, Robyn has the unmitigated gall to say, can we get a list of what we can and cannot, what we can and what we're not supposed to talk about? You, ma'am, are the last person to be asking for this list. You know what? This is one of those types of situations where, Robyn, you might need to sit down and just be silent, okay? There's plenty of games on the phone that you can play. You know what I'm saying? There's lots for you to do. Scroll through Instagram, block some more folks. You know what I'm saying? Lots of great little games that they have these days. I occupies my time with a lot of games, especially when there's a topic of conversation that I really don't really feel like I should probably be participating in. I know how to disassociate. I know how to, disappear within my brain. And next thing you know, I'm on an island somewhere, just fantasizing about the great time I'm going to have. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know how to do that. Why don't you? Because in this period, like, it's girl, like, you just got through talking about something you don't want to talk about, and you barely talked about it then. So you are the last person that need to be asking anybody about the list of things that they can't talk about. Okay. Actually, you know what I mean? Candiace should have told them, you know what? Check my Patreon. Yeah, I talk about the whole lawsuit on the Patreon. $50. Okay, $50 a month. That'll get you some tea. Okay. Robyn, you can check my Patreon if you want to know more about that. How about that? So anyway, Candiace, though, has a better response. She's like, no, let's be dense another day, honey. And she's like, Robyn, you should know this is a legal matter. And you speaking about your legal matters probably didn't help Juan keep his job. That's, I think, what she was implying, okay, based on what we will know, what we hear later. And Robyn says, well, Juan's lawsuit has nothing to do with that or whatever like that. And Wendy's like, well, didn't he commit like a Title IX violation? I'm going to admit, I did Google Title IX last night when I heard it, but then I quickly forgot about it because it really wasn't important to me. But basically, there's some link between him committing some type of Title IX violation and him being fired. That's the going theory. Okay, let me put the alleged badge up here because we get into some stuff that I don't really know about. So Robyn says there's no Title IX violation. So then it's time to go back to the hotel and get ready for chicken bingo. Okay. Meanwhile, Candiace, okay, after they everybody get ready to go to chicken bingo, and they get back in their cars, and Candiace, Mia, and Wendy and Robyn get in the car. So Mia comments about Candiace and Robyn sitting next to each other in the back seat. I'm like, girl, well, they ain't got no choice because they ain't before people in there. So anyway, Wendy then asks Robyn if she feels differently about just, I guess, maybe Candiace from how she felt earlier at breakfast because they're sitting beside each other. And Robyn is like, because Wendy is like, can there be a conversation had? And Robyn is like, I'm not interested in a conversation because Candiace implied that something she said has something to do with why Juan got fired. At this point, Robyn begins to tear up, okay? And, Candiace clarifies she doesn't believe it's wise to speak about a legal situation. And basically, she's standing on business like T.I.'s son, and she's standing on business, and she stands on what she said, okay? Robyn Bipes then breaks down, okay? Break down. steady breaking me on down. Okay, she breaks down. All right. And she get to crying and carrying on and things like that because she says everybody is tearing her down and turning her into a villain. And she didn't do ish to none of them. She didn't do ish to none of these gals. You know what I'm saying? And to that, all I have to say is this.
To be willing to be like fully transparent, to share your life, the good part and the bad part. Maybe she shouldn't be on a TV show where your life is